I was born in Wilcannia and lived all my young life in Wilcannia, just wandering up to Boord, across the lake at Jellicoe, dodging the wealth because I was a target to be a stolen generation, but my poor old grandmother, Granny Boord, she outsmarted them by taking me away all the time. And then all through my young life she learned me how to carve emu eggs and make artefacts. So while I was being taken around, I was watching other old people carve and stuff. I got into national parks in 1980, and then I had to move from Wilcannia to here because the National Parks office was here, and then I met some other artists here and they seen some of my work, and so they encouraged me to do my artwork and stuff. When I turned 57, 58, I just had enough of national parks and just walked away from everything just to do my artwork. This print here, the sculpture of it is down the City Gallery. The plesiosaurus will face towards Whitecliff. That'll represent Whitecliff. The Paakatji will face towards the river. That represents Wilcannia. And so with this is the past. We believe the Paakatji is still in the river. So the past, the future, and the two heads together, that's reconciliation. That's how it should be. This one here, we've done a project. I mean, there's a woman where it was read up at Narran Lake. It's Chrissy Joy Marshall. I done this print and the next one to show that I listened to her story, I listened to her poem. Back in the dreaming was this, like a giant crocodile, Guru, I think they called him, come and swallowed two women, but it was told me that the Paakatji swallowed the woman. This is the Narran River flowing into Narran Lake, and Chrissy Joy talked about when she was young, there were lots of yabbies, fish, swans, emus laying eggs. I done these because she was sick, and when I sent her these, it'll cheer her up. And this is focused on Narran Lake again, and she talked about the black swan, which we call Yunguli, and her eggs are here, and the other swans flying away. She talked about fish and other, like cranes and that in the lake. This one I call No More Catfish, but when I was small, the catfish would have been in the water, but now, with all the pollution in the Darling River and everything, I put the catfish out of the water. This is the sort of little shells that we used to catch the catfish with. The catfish liked them because they was hard to get because they'd be on the underside of a log in the river, and it was hard for the catfish to get, but we broke the shell and put it on the hook and we caught the catfish. So today, you very seldom get a catfish. Maybe it's because of a carp or pollution, I don't know. But then on the top of the print it's just all black. And if we don't try and look after the environment a bit more, that's our future. It's just black, we're going to have nothing, And so that's why I just do it. And sometimes in my artwork, I find sometimes to go and talk to politicians, it's just a waste of time, getting up at a meeting and saying this what you're doing, this what you're doing, because when us black people do it, lots of times we just troublemaking black people. So what I try and do is put my statement in my artwork. I like using timber what is already cut down or dead timber because I can work on it and it'll come out that red colour, but then if I left it in the sun will cook it, but it won't crack, where if I can't do that with green timber. So that's why I like working with the dry timber. It's harder, but it's better to work with. And sometimes you could see the shapes of the wood, how you want it, and you just go and bring it out. I remember the first day I went to school when I was 5-year-old, and I was always fascinated about rubbish and mainly rusted things. And I used to look at things even when I was a kid and say to my poor old grandmother and mum and that, this can be that and this can be this. And that's why I learned myself to weld and make stuff. My backyard is just full of rusted bits of steel and that, but I got to have bits of rubbish around to inspire me. And that's why all this stuff hanging around here will turn into artwork one day. Like when I'm welding steel, I just throw everything down on the ground or on the pavings here and just sit and stare at it for a while, but I can get it together in my mind and just pick it all up and put it together. So these old saw blades, right? You know, this is the saw blade that they cut the wood with. They put me in mind of echidnas, see? So what I do, I draw the echidna and then I cut it all out with a plasma cutter. It comes out like that. You know, in in the artwork you'll see who Dad was, who Mum was. So if I do a fish, I'll do a fish of our dad seeing the fish on the outside, so that's for Dad. And then on the inside of the fish, or a emu or a kangaroo or a goanna, I'll put the intestines and everything, because that's from Mum's side, is because us black people, we do eat the intestines out of the fish and all that. You know, we just use it as medicine. And so on Dad's mob, they fillet the fish and cut the bone and throw it away. And why I like working in black and white is because it puts me in mind of my mum and dad, but also it puts me in mind of myself. I always say that I got two cultures. I got a black culture, I got a white culture because of mum and dad. I got two gods because we got Gulliver, our dreaming. Then we got Jesus Christ because I went to Catholic school. And then I got two laws. I got the black people's law and I got the white fellas' law, you know, and I respect them both.